Good morning. Good morning. It is December 2nd. This is the very first show of December. Oh my gosh. It's the 2nd of December already. Christmas is upon us. The new year is right around the corner. What are you doing to prepare yourself financially for this year that's coming? Right now, what we're doing here at the P.I.L.L Method and helping you to understand these four basic financial principles: prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. Once you understand these four basic principles, you can understand how lending is being practiced around the world. I love borrowing money. I think it is basic to becoming an entrepreneur. I think it's basic even if you're not in business. If you're just trying to buy a house, buy an education, buy a car, you want to use somebody else's money. Oh my goodness. And why is that? Because it's cheaper than using your own. What did he just say? Borrowing money is cheaper than using your own. Let me tell you something right now. Borrowing money is for those people who have resources. It is not for people who don't have resources. You see, when you borrow money, you want to have the ability to pay it back in any way at any time you want to, so you are in complete control. Don't go out and buy something you can't afford just because you have a credit card. But what I do is I use my credit cards for things that I could pay cash for. Oh, listen, I could pay cash for a plane ticket, but guess what? I can put it on my credit card and I can get points. And then I can pay it back in a way that I'm paying a lot less interest than the bank is looking for. So here's what you need to think about, folks, and then we're going to show you some stuff. Think about this. If you could borrow money at a much lower interest cost when you pay it back, then you can take your cash and invest it and make money. We're going to show you some things in just a few minutes, how you can actually create your own interest rate within the loan. When you create your own interest rate, when you pay back the interest the way that you want to instead of the way the bank wants you to, then did you know you can create an interest rate of like 1% or less? So, people, if you can create that kind of interest rate, if you can pay back so little interest so that when you did the math on it, it would come back as if you would have to have an interest rate of about 1% or less to do the very same thing if you were doing it the bank's way. Then if you could borrow money at less than 1%, then your money could then be invested making 7, 10, 15%, whatever investment you put it into. It doesn't make sense to take your cash and purchase something that you could get at 1% or less when you could be making so much more investing your money, even if you're not in business. We're going to show you how to borrow money at a discount. Use your money to do something else, to create wealth with. This is how you can take debt and turn it into wealth. So we're going to show you how you can create money out of thin air, because the interest money we're going to be saving, most people are not even aware they can save it. Most people are not even aware that they're actually paying it because of how we've been conditioned. We're going to talk about that in a little bit today. But first of all, let's talk about how we're able to not only transfer this information to you, but we've been transferring this information to a lot of people for a long time. And some of those people have actually paid off their mortgages already. Oh, man. Do you know Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher? Well, he's actually paid off his mortgage in record time using the P.I.L.L method And I want you to be able to listen to what he has to say about the P.I.L.L method. And then we'll talk about the book that I was able to sign and place in his hand. Let's play it right now.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Did you all hear that? Listen, if you would like to know the month, day, and year you could be debt-free, just like E.T., all right, then you could go to my link up above, click on it, and you'll find a button that says, Get a Savings and Earnings Report. This is my digital business card, ice10k.com. And if you're watching us online, we have a few people watching us already. That's ICE. It stands for Interest Cancellation Expert, the number 10, the letter K.com. Go there and you'll be able to see our digital business card. And one of the links there says, get a savings and earnings report. Follow all of the instructions. And when you follow those instructions, you will be let into a financial form. Fill it out completely. Put in all of your debt. Did you know the average family has 13 different debts? Put it all in. We'll show you what we're doing with a lot of our clients, paying all of their debt off in an average of 7 to 9 years by showing them how not to pay that invisible money we're going to show you today. By saving that money, they can then acquire the same assets for a lot less money in interest, and then take that interest money and create generational wealth with it. How would you like to know that today? Listen, raise your hands, come up to the stage, and we'll be glad to talk to you so you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt-free, how much interest you can save, and take that interest money you would have paid and invest it. Turn it into wealth. Oh my goodness. Stop giving it to the bank, because that's exactly what they're going to do with it. Continue to invite folks in. Share the room, folks, right here on Clubhouse. And if you're watching us online, continue to share the room as well. I also want to talk to you about my book, because listen, this is the book that got the whole thing started. And we wrote that book not too long ago, but it has been a #1 bestseller on Amazon at least 5 times. We're trying to get it there for a 6th time as a #1 bestseller. You know what's unique about this book is it gives you the basics of understanding how amortization actually works and how it was supposed to work for you. But because we have not been conditioned to understand, we have not been taught to understand how amortization works, guess what? Hardly anybody knows. There's only one book out of 33 million titles that even begins to talk about it. And that's this book right here. If you want to understand how lending was supposed to work, if you want to understand, let me tell you something. Everything you know right now, everything you know about how to borrow money or how borrowing money works or what to do with borrowed money, practically everything you've been taught with the P.I.L.L method, I'm going to teach you how to do the exact opposite. Oh, can I give you a couple of examples? Well, right now, interest rates are at 7.25% and above. 7.25%. I'm going to tell you that you don't have to buy down the rate, because the higher interest rates can be better than the lower interest rates. Well, that's opposite, isn't it? Everybody's trying to get the lower interest rate. Well, I'm going to show you that if you can afford the payment, the higher interest rate is going to put you in a better position. What about putting a large down payment on a loan? Never, ever, 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 ever put a large down payment on a loan. I'm going to show you how to use that money more effectively after you close on your loan. Yeah. Never get anything less than a 30-year mortgage. Don't do it. Don't do it ever. Okay? Don't get anything less than a 30-year mortgage because our clients pay off a mortgage in 7 to 9 years. So if you can pay it off in 7 to 9 years, why get a 15-year mortgage? They pay off in the same amount of time. But the thing is, you put more pressure on yourself because your payment is higher on a 15-year mortgage. So if things get tight, you're stuck with that higher payment. Well, listen, if you had a 30-year mortgage and you wanted to make the 15-year payment, you can always drop back to your 30-year payment if things get tight. So there are a lot of things we are taught to do that is not necessarily that will benefit us if we show you the numbers. So folks, this is what it's all about. Knowing exactly how all of this matters to you financially. And keep this in mind, you want to pay the least amount of money that's mathematically possible when you're buying anything, whether it's your house, your car, your education, using your credit cards. You want to spend the least amount of money that's mathematically possible for you so that you can use the bank's money for cheap. So you can use the bank's money at a discount. Oh my goodness. Once you understand that, you're well on your way to saving money and putting it to work for you. So what are we going to do here? What are we doing to kick things off this morning? Well, we're going to show you a little something. Okay, so let me see here. We need to share the screen, and we're going to, let me see, get this ready and put something on the screen just to give you a hint of what we're talking about, and then we'll get in a little deeper. All right, there we go. There's our screen. Watch this, folks. Here, what I have now is just a little bit of an example here that we use as a case study. If you want to see what we're talking about, you can go to either YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Search P.I.L.L method, and then you will see our live broadcast, and you can see these numbers instead of just hearing me talk about it. Bring it up on your computer as you're listening to us on Clubhouse, and then you can also bring it up on a tablet or like an iPad or something. You can have that on the side, watch what we're doing, and listen to us on Clubhouse. But you're going to have to turn the volume down on your secondary device. Is that fair? So watch this. Here's what I'm talking about. Here is a single mom situation, and the mortgage here is $156,500 over 30 years. The interest rate is at 4%. Okay, and so what the bank wants is for you to pay $156,500 at 4%, but pay $112,477 in interest. Anybody want to do that? Borrow $156,000, but pay $112,477 to borrow that money. Do you know what the effective interest rate is on that? It's 71%. 71%, almost 72%, 71.87%. That's almost 72%. What? I borrow money, and the bank wants me to pay them 72% on the borrowed money, but they get to call it 4%. Yeah, that part. So what if we could borrow that money at 1% or less? Instead of paying $112,000, why don't we just pay out $28,000 to borrow the same amount of money to pay off the same house in 6.7 years without disrupting this single mom's finances? It's still able to take the kids on trips, still able to do the after school activities, still able to go on vacations and have a very nice life. What she's doing is able, by cutting her interest costs by 75%, she's able to not only have a great life, but create memories for her family. And her family has a better understanding of money, and they don't have to grow up hearing, I can't afford that. I can't do that. You can't do what the other kids do. Okay? You can't do that. You can't have that. And they get a very poor understanding about money. It's something that is not abundant, that money is a scarcity. All because she's spending her children's inheritance on interest. We're showing her how not to. Instead of spending $112,000 in interest, only spending $28,000. So therefore, a lot of that money that was supposed to go to interest, she can now use to pay down the principal on the loan and be done in 6.7 years. So let's talk about it. How in the world can we understand how we can borrow money and use that money to create wealth? What does it mean that we're dealing with invisible money? What does it mean? This is what it means. Let me give you a little bit more of an insight here. Oh, I love talking about this. And folks, raise your hand, come to the stage if you want to ask a question. I'm going to share this out into the clubhouse hallways one more time and get it out there. So we have Jasmine here in Clubhouse. We have Lena here. We have Lisa, Sharon, Shannon. We've got Barbara. How you doing, Barbara? We got Livonia, Shelly, Ontario, Crystal, Shatan. Listen, we got all you guys in here right now. Share the room and also go into the chat. Say hello and tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're from, because I want to make sure that we have clients in all 50 states. And because P.I.L.L Method is international, we have a total of 9 countries that are using the P.I.L.L Method system to cut their interest costs by 50 to 75%, pay off all of their debt in 7 to 9 years. So here's what I mean by invisible money. Did you know that the average family has 13 different debts? And because of that, they're paying out 35 to 39% of your take-home pay on interest alone. Hi, Shelly Shelly Thomas and Nick Thomas. How are you doing this morning? They're watching us on Facebook. Listen, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and share this out to people. All right. And let them know that you are watching this. And even if they can't come on live, Nick and Shelly, guess what? They can watch the replay later. All right. So if you have this debt, guess what? It is entirely possible that you are living a great life already. You're making enough money and everything is going quite well. You're not struggling. You pay your bills every single month. And you go on vacation. You have low utilization on your credit cards. You know how to handle your money, and you're doing things. Listen, you almost are thinking it can't be better than this until you start looking at how much interest you're paying on this. And then you're saying, there's got to be something wrong. I can pay my bills every month, but the amount of money I'm paying out, the bills should be going down faster. The amount of money that I borrowed, my loans should be going down faster than they are, and they're not. Jeremiah Sam says, good morning. And everybody else, he says, good morning. And he's watching us from YouTube. Good morning, Jeremiah. So, folks, I want to say good morning to everybody. And Shelly Thomas is saying good morning from Texas. All right, good. I'm going to go over here and put this on here. Good morning. There you go. Put a little sunshine in there. Good morning to everybody. Lena is saying good morning from Charlotte, North Carolina. Livonia Miller. Hello, everyone. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. All right. You know, my wife, Livonia, my wife is from the Bronx. In fact, my nieces and my brother-in-law and a boyfriend all flew in from New York last night. Okay, got here and they're going to spend some holiday time with us here in Huntsville, Alabama. And listen, Armand, we listen. Good morning to you. Good morning from Chicago, Illinois. He says, and my wife used to work in Chicago. Look at there. Used to work in Chicago, grew up in New York, worked in Michigan, and now we are here in Huntsville, Alabama, sharing this information with you. So go ahead. And Lisa Williams says good morning from Nightdale, North Carolina. I've never heard of Nightdale, Lisa. So listen, folks, I would love it if some people listen to us in the background at work, but if you can, come up to the stage, raise your hand, come up to the stage and just say hello. You don't even have to ask a question this morning. So come up to the stage, just say hello, raise your hand. We would love to talk to anyone. But if you do have a question, come on, get that question out. Right now, I'm going to be putting it out. Now, you want to understand what's going on here. Now, that is just one example. Can I put up another example? I got 10 people here watching us live. I've got 11 people in here right now wanting to know how to make money out of thin air. Can I give you an example how I showed a real estate investor how to make money out of thin air? Because he wasn't doing it before until he read my book. Oh, man. Listen, one more time. I got to put the book up. I got to put the book up one more time before we go to this next example, because this next example was created by this book. He read the P.I.L.L Method book, very successful in real estate investing, has a great business here. Well, just one business, just one of his businesses is doing great. So he has several and is a real estate investor. And all these years he was doing that, he didn't pay attention to how much interest he was paying. This was invisible money to him, invisible money. Okay. And he was paying it out to get these properties and to make money because his tenants were paying the rent. Okay. And so he's making a lot of money, but he didn't realize how much money he was spending on interest until he read my book. Then he wanted to do something about it. Steve Mack just showed up. What's up, Steve? All right. Tabitha's here this morning. Tabitha, I love that picture. Tell your hubby I said hi. Okay. So, all right, folks, I listen, I want to show you this next example, and then we're going to show you how to make money, create money out of thin air. But I want to show you this example as one of them. This real estate investor has debt of over $2 million, $2,236,000. Okay. And he has, look at this over to the right. Base monthly income out of the rents. Base monthly income, $57,882.67. So is he making money? Yep. The rent's coming in. All right. $57,882. That's how much money's coming in. How much is he paying on the mortgages on two buildings? These are office buildings. How much money is he paying in mortgages each month? $14,696. $14,696. Okay, I need you all to take this in. the renters are paying $57,000. Okay, but he's paying out $14,000 in mortgage payments. Wow. So that's making pretty good money. So what is happening here? All right. So he says, Don, even though I'm making pretty good money, I want to consistently look at about 63% of my income. I want to reinvest that money. So 63% he's earmarked for investing. So we can't touch over $36,000. P.I.L.L method doesn't touch that. Okay. That's going to be reinvested into other properties. All right. And he has $6,500, about 11.2%, $6,500 that's going into a reserve fund so that he can do repairs and maintenance on all of his buildings. So he has a certain percentage of the rents coming in from all the properties. I'm just showing you just two of his properties, just two, but he's got others. And he, even in his business, did you know that he set it up so that he's renting his own building? So even his own building is making money. Good morning, Patricia. How are you doing? Patricia, I don't know. I might have told you, but my wife's name is Patricia. That's why I can always remember your name. Thank you for being here this morning. And so, folks, we have other folks coming here saying good morning, good morning, good morning, where you're from. And Ontario, Dickie says good morning from Houston, Texas. I was in Houston not too long ago. All right. So here's what's happening. He's got this going on. And I want you to be very clear about this. He's paying a lot of money in interest on the $2 million that he owes. The bank wants $1,123,000 in interest on these buildings. So now he didn't care about that at first. Okay. Because why didn't he care about it? Because he was looking at the front side of this real estate investment, looking at the front side. What's the front side? The front side is, this is how much rent I'm bringing in. Here is how much I'm paying for the mortgages on the buildings. All right. And I'm able now to take $36,000 a month to reinvest. Whoo, my goodness. Because I have over $6,500 coming in that I'm putting away just for something that could happen down the road. So I could do maintenance on the buildings. You got to do maintenance, right? So here's what he's doing. So he's got that going on. But he wasn't paying attention, even though the bank was giving. So he had, he's paying the mortgages. His tenants are paying for everything. He didn't pay attention to the fact that on the money he borrowed, the bank wanted $1 million in interest. So when he gave me a call, and we did this analysis, everybody who gives us a call gets one of these. And I'm going to tell you right now, let me break this part down. People call all the time and says, Don, how much do you charge for your program? I don't know how much we're going to charge you for the program, because if somebody has $2 million in interest in mortgages, all right, and you have a mortgage of $200,000 or $300,000, do you expect to pay the same thing that this real estate investor paid? Do you expect to pay the same thing, or do you expect to pay something less? I don't know. People call and says, "What do you charge?" I don't know. Would you call somebody who was that paints houses? I want to paint 5 rooms in my house. How much would you call a painter that says, and you tell them, I want to paint 5 rooms in my house? How much do you charge? What is the painter going to say? The painter says, I don't know. They're going to have to come, take a look, do measurements. All right. And see what else you want done, and then give you a price. Then you're going to know what your outcomes are. You want to know what your benefits are, and you compare it to the price. Asking the price without knowing your benefits does you no good. Learn to ask two questions. How much does it cost, and what are my benefits? So if your benefits outweigh the cost, folks, there is no cost. That means that is a zero net cost to you. If you're going to save $100,000, I'm saving this guy $891,000 in interest he would have paid to the bank. $891,000 out of the $1,123,000 the bank wanted. So if I save him $891,000, what do you think is a fair price to charge him to save him $891,000 that he had planned to pay to the bank? What would be a fair price for that? What do you all think? Put in the chat. How much should it cost to save him $891,000 he was going to pay to the bank he wasn't paying attention to because it was invisible to him? I don't know. Listen, raise your hand. Come to the stage. How much do you think it would be a fair price to charge him to save him $891,000? That's a 79% reduction. All right. So what happened? Listen, is Satoshi Ethan in here? All right. Is he still in here? Because people come in and they leave these little messages that we have to delete. Follow me and ask me how to make money online. No. Okay. So we're going to delete that. See ya. Wouldn't want to be you. Don't come in here and leave messages like that. We're not doing that today. All right. Oteven is here. I see you. All right. I'm deleting stuff, Oteven. So now I'm back. How are you doing this morning? Can you come up and talk? Or are you busy? All right, we'll see. Listen, folks, so here's what we're talking about. So we're going to save $891,000 for them. And now that money has become, it was invisible, now it's visible. Let me give you an example here of what we're talking about. I'm going to tell a little story. And then maybe this will help you to see what I mean by invisible money, making it visible. Okay? So, do you know anybody who has a great job? They got a good job. They're making really good money with a salary. All right? But anytime they travel, their company gives them a per diem. I mean, they give them money so that they can rent a car if need be. They can stay in a hotel, and they can buy food, and they use that money to do that. Let's just say that this is a very generous company. They give this individual, this young lady, $1,500 a week per diem. $1,500 comes out to $1,500, and out of that money, she can spend it any way she chooses. Any way she chooses. And if she doesn't, but she has to turn in a receipt for everything she spends. But guess what? She gets to keep whatever she doesn't spend. Wow. So if she came to you and said, listen, I got this great job and you guys are having a great old conversation. I got this great job and I'm getting $1,500 a week per diem when I'm on the road. What would you tell this young lady? Okay. Spend it all and live a great life while you're out on the road. Go to the most expensive restaurants, stay only in 4 and 5 star hotels, and rent the best car. Would you tell her to spend every single dime of that money Because see, what is she buying? She's buying transportation, because that's a thing, buying transportation, buying lodging, all right, and buying food. Okay, those are three things that she's buying. Does she have control over how much she spends on what she's buying? All right, so, oh, Stevenson can't talk right now. All right, good morning to you. All right, Livonia Miller. Okay, how are you doing? All right, so folks, does she have to spend all of that money? Would you recommend, yes or no, would you recommend that she spend all of that money every single week? What do you guys think? Talk to me. Put something in the chat. Okay? Raise your hand and come up to the stage or put it in the chat. How you doing, George? Good to see you, buddy. All right? No. So Patricia says, no, don't spend the money. Tabitha says, no, don't spend the money. Don't spend all of it. Especially, do you think she could learn to live well while she's out on the road, right? Can she still stay in a nice hotel, get a nice car? The last time I went to Houston, no, usually when I go out of town, I rent a car, but you know what I found out? That a lot of the people that are going to the same place I'm going, whether it's a conference or a meeting of some sort, do you know what they're doing? Because we're staying in nice hotels. And they're charging like $46 a night to park your car, right? So I'm at a conference for 3 or 4 days, and I'm staying at Jeremiah says save it. I'm staying at the hotel, right? And the car is parked most of the time. So I'm renting a car that I'm paying for daily. And then I've got to pay to park it daily. And what they're doing is they're getting an Uber and coming in from the airport to the hotel. And if they want to go out, guess who they go out with? The person who rented the car. Or they'll just hire an Uber. But either way, I think what they're doing, they may be doing is saying, listen, what is it going to cost me to rent the car? What is it going to cost me to park the car? And then if I know that, then can I still get transportation, good transportation for less? I get somebody to chauffeur me, and I don't have to worry about parking the car. And when I want to go somewhere, listen, I can be in my room. I can order the Uber. I can see it coming towards to the hotel, and it tells me it's like 5 minutes away. I can hang out in my room, and then, with 2 minutes to go, I walk down and I look for the driver and their car. I get in the car and I go wherever I want. So I could save the money. I could save on food. And here's what we're talking about. What happens to all of that money that she saves? What could she do with the money that she saves? What could she do with that money? You all tell me. What could she do? Put some ideas in the chat. Okay. Patricia Alexander said that's crazy. Seems like a waste of money, isn't it? Patricia, that's just to rent the car and to park it at the hotel. I'm going to be there all day. I'm not going anywhere because I'm going for a meeting. I'm going for a seminar. Steve Mack said, invest that money. Invest the money. So, folks, if I don't pay, is it easier to see that somebody gave me or gave this young lady $1,500 a week? Okay, that's $6,000 a month. $6,000 a month. This young lady travels a lot of the year. $6,000 a month to buy food, to buy lodging, and to buy transportation. And you get to keep whatever you don't spend. Wow. Isn't that something? And then you can invest the money. So what we're going to do now, folks, Okay, so Patricia Alexander says make it make sense, Don. Come on, Patricia. So, folks, watch this. All right. So I'm gonna put something else on the screen right now. I'm gonna put on an amortization schedule, and we're going to make it very plain. All right. Now, Benjamin Franklin said this. Okay. Well, he's reported to say this. A penny saved is a penny earned. We need to look at money we could have spent or should have spent that we didn't spend to acquire the same product, the same thing or service. What if I was willing to pay what I had, but now I can actually pay less to get the same thing? All right. So what we want to do is make this invisible money visible. So let me give you an example of what we're talking about, and let me see if we can make it make sense. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to bring something else up on the screen. Boom, boom, boom. And then we're going to bring up an amortization schedule. All right. And we're going to slide it over. All right. Here it is. All right. There we go. So there's our amortization schedule. And I'm going to put in a $350,000 mortgage. Okay. $350,000 at 7%. So let's just say that this is a real estate investor. Okay. And they are making money on the deal. Okay. That's going to be a given. They're making money on the deal. They like the deal. They like how much money they're making. Now, here's what I've learned in sitting in a real estate class that I paid for. And guess what? The last time I went, this is what I did. I looked at what it was going to cost me to go to this conference. I looked at the hotel that the conference was being held in. And then I looked at surrounding hotels. What I found out was I could get a much bigger, much nicer room at a quality hotel 2 or 3 blocks away than the hotel that the conference was being held at. And instead of renting a car, I chose to Uber in from the airport to the hotel. And guess what? I found out that I didn't have to rent a car. I didn't have to pay to park the car. I didn't have to do any of that. And so I saved money on the hotel. I saved money on the car. Oh my goodness. And then if I subtracted the money, now let me see, here's what I would have spent. Here's what I did spend. I take the savings and I subtract that money from the cost of the seminar. Is my seminar now cheaper for me because of money that I would have spent ordinarily, but I didn't rent the car, and I didn't have to pay to park it, and I didn't stay at the same hotel and saved hundreds of dollars? Isn't that a better way of looking at it? So watch this. Here's a $350,000 mortgage at 7%. Payment is $2,328.56. All right. Patricia says, absolutely. Now, here's how much interest the bank wants, even though this real estate investor is making money. The bank wants how much interest? $488,281.60. Interest on a $350,000 loan. Folks, that's not 7%. This number, 488,000, is not 7% of 350,000. It is 139.5%. That's what it is. Go ahead and continue to invite some people in. Invite more people in, because we're going to show you how to make money that is invisible We're going to make it visible right now. Keep that idea in mind of receiving a per diem of $1,500 a week that you can spend any way you want, but you get to keep what's left over. Okay? So now I'm going to show you this. Every single time somebody makes a payment on this, I need you to see, if you're new to the room and you want to see what we're doing, go to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. Search for P.I.L.L Method. And when you do this search, you will find our live broadcast. Watch it. Now, watch this. Every single month, it starts out at $286.89 goes to principal. Okay? And $2,041 goes to interest. Here's what's happening. The $286, you're creating equity. When you have a loan on a property, you're buying your equity. You're buying equity. So you just paid your loan down by $286.89 out of the payment of $2,328.56. Only $286 went to pay down the loan or to create equity. How much are you spending to purchase equity? In this month, you're spending $2,041.67 to purchase equity. I need y'all to put it in the chat and continue to share this room. Let me share it one more time because I don't have near enough people in here to see this. All right. So, do you think $2,000 a month is too much to pay for $286 in equity? Patricia says, these banks are crazy. Come on, Patricia. I'm trying to get through this thing, and you cracking me up over here. All right? So, do y'all think that's too much to pay? All right. Great morning. Awesome day. Yolanda Sells, Michigan. All right. You know, she knows I'm from Michigan, so she wants to put that up there. All right? Patricia says, heck yeah, that's too much to pay. So, when you get a loan, here's what you should think about. What is it costing me to purchase my equity? Because that's the thing you're buying. Okay? You're paying rent. You're paying the bank a service fee so that you can buy your equity. All right? Setting it up so you can buy equity. Now, remember, this young lady has been given $1,500 a week to purchase her stuff: food, lodging, transportation. $1,500 a week. And if I'm getting this money as on a rental, I'm paying, what am I paying? I'm paying $2,000 a month to purchase $286 in equity. That's the thing I'm purchasing. I'm purchasing equity. And I gotta keep doing it for 30 years. I need you to zone in on column 3 and column 4. Let me see if I can increase. I'm going to blow this thing up. I'm going to blow this thing up so we can zoom in as I scroll down to line 12. That's 1 year into the loan. 1 year into the loan. All right. And I'm looking at column 3, which is cumulative principal, and column 4, cumulative interest. What are we talking about today, folks? Creating money out of thin air, making the invisible visible. Right now, after 1 year, I will pay this loan down by $3,555.36. And why is this a great thing? Because my tenant is paying the bill. They're paying me rent. And then I pay the mortgage and I get to keep the difference. Tenant is paying the rent. Okay? And so it's $24,000 $387.36. That went to interest. Let me go ahead and put this on the screen. Here's how much money my tenant has given me in 1 year. Okay. My tenant gave me $24,387.36 plus the $3,555.36. My tenant gave me $27,942.72 in just 1 year. My tenant gave me that money. Okay? My tenant gave me the money. And now I've got to now purchase equity with that money. Out of $27,942.72, I am now purchasing equity. And how much equity do I get? $3,555.36 out of the $27,942.72 my tenant gave me. Remember, this young lady is receiving $1,500 a week to purchase food, lodging, and transportation. My tenant gave me $27,942.72 to purchase my equity, which ended up cost my thing that I'm buying is the equity, and out of that money I'm able to buy $3,555.36. Looking at it this way, am I paying too much for equity out of the money my tenant gave me? My tenant gave me the money. This young lady's job gave her the $1,500 a week. That's $6,000 a month to spend any way she chooses. And everybody here is thinking, yeah, if you got $6,000 a month, you might want to do some discount shopping, okay, and save some of that money, and so you can invest it for yourself. All right. So, folks, do you see where we're going with this? Does it make sense to you now? If you're new to the room, you can watch these examples. I got the numbers right up on the screen. Go to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, search P.I.L.L Method, and watch it online. All right. So here's what we're doing. Let's break it down even further. Now, it is easy for you to see how this young lady can find out how she can save money. Now, I saved money by staying at a less expensive hotel, but it was downtown Houston. It was less expensive, but it was still very nice. In fact, for like $100 or maybe $150 or $200 less per night, I was able to get a suite at another hotel 3 blocks away. Just a little exercise, get a little exercise. So I got a suite at another hotel, which I would have to pay for a regular room at this hotel, a lot more. And I didn't have to park the car at $46 a night. So I'm finding ways to save money. And what I did was because of the credit card I was using at the hotel I was using, I get perks for using a certain credit card, and then I could save money on my food, which I did. Oh man, they had a very nice hot breakfast at this hotel. It was fantastic. I mean, they had everything. It was a buffet every single morning, which was included in the price of the room of the suite that I received. So my food, I got the food, I got the suite. So I looked for ways to save money. And in the evening, they had like a meet and greet type of thing in the evening where they had a little bit of food and you can get some drinks and meet some people. So listen, I didn't have to pay for breakfast. I didn't have to pay for dinner. It's all in the price of the room. Do you see what I'm talking about here? So now, You can see how we can save money there and then take the rest and invest it elsewhere. But how do we save money on this mortgage? How do we do the same thing that we're doing over here, which you would advise this young lady, but the real estate investor, we're telling the real estate investor, don't worry about the interest you're paying because your tenants are paying the rent. But when we break it down this way, the tenant gave them $27,942.72 to purchase $3,555.36 worth of equity. Would you allow, would you tell the real estate investor the same thing? Watch this. So I'm going to show you how you can do this, how you can get the same equity for several $1,000s cheaper. Now, this real estate investor has cash set aside in a bank account for the purpose of taking care of his buildings, taking care. So for maintenance, for repair and maintenance. Okay, let's just say that they have $60,000 or $70,000 in reserve. Got $60,000 or $70,000 in reserve. And here's my question: could the real estate investor borrow from themselves out of a bank account that's making 0.1%? The bank account is making 0.1%, and they've got cash in there doing practically nothing. Okay? And so borrowing $3,555.36 and advancing it to the mortgage. So you're not paying more. You're paying, what you're doing is that you're giving the bank their money, but you're giving it to them at a time that benefits you and not them. They want you to give the $3,500 to them in 12 monthly installments. And when you do, guess what? You have to pay them over $2,000 a month, each month, to give them $200 and $300 payments on your loan. But you got to give them over $2,000 a month to do it. Come on. So what I'm saying is borrow $3,555.36 from yourself and pay it on line one. What? Yeah. You can pay it on line one. Watch this. So remember, let me get my notepad out here so I can remember these numbers. So I got 27,000. You all need to write this down too. $942.72 that we're paying out to get that equity. All right, that my tenant gave me. All right, so that's what we're doing. So let me clear this out. So I'm going to give. Remember, I have 350. The mortgage is 350,000 starting out, and then instead of giving the $3,500 in 12 monthly installments, I'm going to give it to them all at one time. So they would have to subtract that money from what I owe, right? So I make my regular mortgage payment on line one, and then give the rest of the money that would make the $3,555.36 worth of principal I would pay in the year. Let's subtract $3,555.36. Subtract that. It equals $346,444.64. Folks, that's the same thing that's right here. So I could pay it over 12 months, or I could pay it in 1 month by borrowing the money from myself. So I'm looking for, what's the discount I'm looking for? So if the young lady's looking for a discount on food, on transportation, and on lodging, I'm looking for, because somebody's giving me $27,000, I'm looking for a reduction in interest cost. How do I reduce the interest cost? By giving the bank the $3,500 all at once. Wow. So what happens when I do? I make it impossible for them to charge me the interest charges between line 2 and line 12. I save all of that money. All the interest charges from on line 2, 3, 4, 5. Listen, I can keep counting. Between line 2 and line 12, I save that money. And when I save that money, what did I just save? To purchase the same equity, I saved $22,364.65. What did I pay for the equity? $2,041.67. What did I pay for my hotel? $150 to $200 less per night. I got a suite at the other hotel, plus hot breakfast. And I'm talking about, listen, they had an omelet station. You had a breakfast to order. They had an omelet station with hot waffles, potatoes, fruit. They had everything, and was built into the price of what I was paying for the suite. If I had stayed at the other hotel, I had to pay more for a smaller room, plus I had to buy food. Folks, are you seeing what we're talking about here? We're taking money and making it visible, that was invisible before. This $24,000 was invisible to the people who were paying it. And now I just got the same equity for $22,000 less. That money is now visible to me. What am I going to do with that? By the time we're done, we're going to save a lot of money here. Let's go back to our other example. Listen, folks, continue to invite people in here. Continue to invite them. Listen, people are going over. They're going over to watch us online. They're leaving Clubhouse, and I've seen as they leave Clubhouse, I get more and more people online. But that's okay. So here's what's happening. So by using that same deal that's going on here, by using the same deal, watch this. This real estate investor is doing something like that. Out of the money that they have invested, they're investing their money. They're bringing in over $57,800 a month. Okay, they're paying on their mortgage $14,000 a month, over $14,000. Out of all of that money coming in, they're reinvesting $36,686.67 in purchasing other properties out of that money, but $6,500 is going into a reserve fund, which they have over $100,000 in. Do you see where we're getting ready to go here? We're borrowing some of that money and putting it on the debt. And by doing that, watch this, in the same fashion, instead of paying $1,123,000 in interest, which is what they would have paid to stay at the big hotel, $1,123,000 in interest to the bank to get the same equity, paying off the entire loan, okay? But they're only going to pay $231,468,000 in interest instead, because they're taking money that is sitting in the reserve account, they're borrowing it from themselves and applying it to principal. And when they do, then they know how much is going into their reserve account every month. So when they borrow some of that money out, they're waiting and applying it to principal and saving a ton of interest each time. Then what they're doing is waiting until they pay themselves back out of the $6,500 that's coming to them a month. They're going to wait, pay themselves back, and when they build up the stash again, they're going to take that money and then apply it to principal again and save a ton of interest and a ton of time. So instead of giving the bank $1 million, even though they're cash flowing, they could live very well this way. But what if they didn't have to spend $891,726 to acquire the same property? What if now this money that was invisible, we just created money. It was right there all the time, but we took it from invisibility to make it visible. And now, how do we create money out of thin air? Look at this number. Let me make this one bigger. Oh my goodness, I've got to bring it up. Okay. He's going to take that money. This real estate investor is going to take that money. Watch this. With the P.I.L.L method, we'll use the 17 years you would have paid on these buildings, the 17 years you would have paid. We're going to take that money now and not give it to the bank. You're going to invest that money for yourself and create an additional $9,314,000 out of thin air because of the interest money you did not have to pay the bank. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. Taking the invisible money and now making it visible. Folks, do you see what we're talking about? Can I get some comments in the chat? If you can't come up and talk to me, let's put some comments in the chat. Okay? Because listen, this is powerful stuff. This is powerful stuff. And I need you to do what it is that you've got to do to understand that you do not have to pay all of that money to acquire the same asset. And then if you track how much money you're actually spending and how much money you actually save, invest that money, and like this real estate investor is going to do, and create another $9 million with the money they were supposed to pay to the bank. I mean, on a much smaller scale, listen, folks, I wish I could remember the name of the hotel, but it doesn't really matter. What I did was I didn't stay at the expensive hotel. I stayed down the road, 3 blocks down, got a suite, and I got breakfast and dinner built in to acquire the same thing. I just needed lodging for a few days. Folks, this is what we're telling you today. Every person under the sound of my voice, can do this. You can save interest to acquire the same equity that the bank is charging you. All right, here's what we've got. Lisa Williams Darby. Lisa, I haven't heard from you in a long time. You and your husband better call me. She's watching us from Facebook, folks. All right. This program works exactly the way Don is describing it. They are clients. They're using it. Okay. They're using it. Do you know what is powerful? You know what is so powerful about our program? Let me give you something else that's powerful about our program, folks. If you're watching the replay or you're in the room right now, all right, I need you to go to just Google P.I.L.L method right now. Google P.I.L.L method right now. Let's do that. Let me show you something. We're going to Google P.I.L.L method right now. We're going to do that. Click on that. Put in P.I.L.L method. All right. I'm Googling it. And look here. On page 1, nothing but P.I.L.L method. Okay. Got videos. Got the book over here to the right. All right, got the book here and videos, Best in Business Award. So the P.I.L.L method has won awards. What? All right, P.I.L.L method International. This is where our office is in Madison, Alabama. Our Facebook. Let's see here. Let me see what else we've got. P.I.L.L method on Twitter. Pill method, a better way to eliminate debt. I don't even know what market spread is. Okay, so we got all this on page 1. So we go to page 2 and watch this. Look at there. Birth control on page 2. When you Google pill method, birth control is on page 2. Come on! If you continue to look and do your due diligence on this, you will find one negative word about the pill method. Not one negative word about the pill method from people who have actually used the program. Patricia Alexander is saying online right now, she's saying she's reading the book now. Folks, if you want to know more about this, get the book. We're going to put it up in a minute. But watch this. Do you see here? Pill Method International Better Business Bureau. Let's see what the Better Business Bureau has to say about the pill method. Oh, customer reviews. Now, we need some more customer reviews, folks, because after they stay on for so long, Better Business Bureau just deletes them. But there's another site that keeps them. So all the reviews that we've ever received is on another site. Okay, but watch this. Well, look at our rating. A+ rating. Years in business, 16 years. Okay, I need you to zero in on this, though. I'm going to make it even bigger. Make this bigger. Watch this. Pulling it in. Here's a business that's been in business for 16 years. I need you to see this. So file a complaint. Customer complaints. This business has how many complaints, folks? I need you to put it in the chat. Put in the chat. How many complaints does the pill method have in 16 years? Okay? If you're reading it, put it in there. Okay? 0 complaints. 0 complaints in 16 years. All right. I got a question coming up here. All right. Here's our question. All right. It's from Faith. What does he say here? It says here on Clubhouse. My question is that what if I took a personal loan of $20,000 at 7.8 interest rate to consolidate credit card debts? Would the pill help pay off faster and smarter? Guess what, Faith? The thing that you're going to learn about the pill method, you weren't here earlier. Okay? You weren't here earlier, but here's what we're talking about. Everything that you've learned to do, you're going to do the exact opposite with the pill method. If you can make all of your payments on the credit card, it will be cheaper for you to not get the consolidation loan. And then we'll show you how to pay back each one of those loans a lot faster, a lot cheaper, without getting the consolidation loan by paying them off in the right order. Paying them off in the right order with the right amount of money. And our program will tell you how much money to put on each out of the money that you're making. Out of the money that you're making, the program is going to tell you which card to attack, how much money to put on it, how much interest you're going to save each time, and then when to put money on the next card, and then the next card, and then the next card. And then in just a little bit of time, a lot of our clients knock out all of their credit cards in an average of 1.5 years. And they don't have to take out a consolidation loan to do it. That is what I'm talking about. So, folks, everything you've learned about how to handle debt, practically everything you've learned about how to handle debt, is exactly the opposite. So I hope this has been made clear. I hope we've made it clear to you. So how you can take your money that you're paying out, the invisible money in interest, how to make it visible in a way that makes sense so that you can get your equity a lot cheaper. money you don't have to spend to purchase the same thing. And in this case, the thing is equity. And how to take that money that you would have spent and create money out of thin air with money that you would have spent that was invisible to you before, but is visible to you now. You're in the P.I.L.L Method Club on Clubhouse, and today we're talking about invisible money, how to make money appear out of thin air, looking at how to acquire equity at a much lower interest cost. I'm going to show you one last example, and then we're going to be done for the day. So if you don't come up and ask a question right now, you will lose the opportunity today. But we're going to be back here Sunday. We'll be back here Sunday. So let me go back and show you one other example right now. And this is what you need to know. Because of how we're doing this, okay, because of how we're treating this loan, did you realize that this investor, if they wanted to, can pay off $2,336,000 in 4.9 years? Not in 21.9 years, not in 22 years, but in 4.9 years, saving $891,000. Do you know what his interest rate would have to be? This is called the effective interest rate. Do you know what his interest rate would have to be to only pay $231,000 on these loans? You would need an interest rate of 0.67%. That's the effective interest rate. That's what we're doing for our clients. Taking 5 and 6 and 7% loans and making it act like it's an interest rate less than 1%. So he could take his money and invest it instead of giving it to the bank. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here this morning. We're going to get into this a little deeper, maybe on Sunday, and talk about how we have been thinking about our money and thinking about it differently. You've got to think about your money differently so that you can stop giving it to the bank and invest it in yourselves. That's what we're doing. I want to thank everybody for being here. So you're in the P.I.L.L Method Club. I need you to go ahead and follow me. Follow the club and follow me. So if you're not following the club, go ahead and click that greenhouse above and follow the club. If you're not following me, please follow me. So whenever we're on, you will know. Just click that always bell. If you're watching us on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to the room. Subscribe to our channel and like the videos and comment on the videos. That's going to help get the message out as well. And I want to thank every single one of you that are watching the videos and calling the office and wanting to know more about what we're doing so that you can be out of debt in 7 to 9 years. So listen, I want to put this back on the screen. Let's put the book back on the screen because this is important. Some people are reading the book right now. David Hunt just shared us on Twitter. Let me see here. Lisa Williams Darby says the book is a very easy read and easy to understand. We break it down for you, okay? And so let's show you how to make millions of dollars here, folks. Make millions of dollars by not giving the bank all that money. Go to Amazon and get the book today. It is a very easy read. In fact, it will change your life financially because we're doing things completely different than what the establishment is teaching you to do that's costing you so much money. All right? The real estate investor that we're showing here he's doing it the old-fashioned way, making plenty of money, but it was going to cost him $1 million, over $1,100,000 in interest. By doing it the new way, still making the same amount of money, still investing the same amount of money, but he's paying $891,000 less in interest, taking that money and turning it into another $9 million in net worth. Listen, I'm sharing this with you, and I get speechless sometimes when I understand the enormity of the amount of money that we're spending that we don't have to spend to acquire the same assets. Wow. What is it that's going on here, folks? We've been what's the word? Conditioned to give away all of our money for years when we didn't have to. So let's get it back. Let's get all the money back that we've ever paid in interest and then some by using the P.I.L.L method. By using the P.I.L.L method, and then by using the P.I.L.L method, you'll get that money back that you paid in interest and then some, because then you're going to invest your money and then make more money than you've ever paid in interest. That is going to be key. That's going to be sweet. To make more money than you've ever paid in interest, to get it all back and then some. Well, folks, read the book. Not only read the book, but give it out as Christmas gifts. Go ahead and order extra copies for Christmas and give it to family and friends along with the other gifts you're giving. If you're going to have Christmas dinner at your place and other people and your relatives are showing up, relatives and friends, have the books ready. Put it out on your coffee table, and when somebody starts picking it up, then they're going to read it and say, "Where did you get this book?" And you say, "Listen, I got one for everybody." And you get a book, and you get a book, and you get a book, and you get a book. Just like Oprah. You know, when I have a chiropractor here in town. So when I go to my doctor's office, I take 3 books in with me, and I sign them, and I put it on they have a reading table. So where all their reading material is, I put it there. And people pick up the book while they're waiting for their appointment, start reading the book, and then they go up and ask, "How can I get this book?" And they said, "The author says, if you want it, you can have it." What? So I give away books. I give away books all the time. So when the books are gone, every time I go in for my appointment, I take more books. And when they run out, do you know how many clients I've received from just giving away books? Listen, I have such a good time doing this. Folks, I want to thank you for being here today. All of you that came in, thank you for being here. I'm going to put in personally, thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm going to thank everybody for being online with us this morning. I'm going to put that in there. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your comments. We don't have any questions today, and I'm going to be done. All right. So since we don't have any questions, and we did have one question, and we answered that. Okay. So Faith, I answered your question. Faith is going to catch it on the replay. He had to leave, but so I only had the one. So bring your questions on Sunday. We'll be able to talk to you more about what's happening on Sunday. And to listen, we want to make this so abundantly clear to you, so abundantly clear that you will know what we're doing. So I have some other, Patricia says we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. David Hunt is sharing. And if you listen, tell your friends about the show. Tell them how they can watch it, and get the book and share it with others. And if you want to know how to get a savings and earnings report for yourself, just do this. Go to either ICE, the number 10 and the letter K, ICE10K.com. That's our digital business card. And click on Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Or you can go straight to our website, pillmethod.com. And then click on the same button, Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Then you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt-free in an average of 7 to 9 years. Now, guess who's going to call? Only people who have been studying this for a long time. They've been looking for a better way. If you're satisfied with what you're already doing, you won't call, and that's perfectly fine. But if you've been looking for a better way, this is it. This is the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system on the planet, and we guarantee it in writing. If you find a better way, you don't have to pay. If this program does not work for you, we guarantee that if you follow our program, we guarantee your results. Guaranteed results. No other program anywhere will guarantee your results if you follow it. We will. You follow our program, I'll guarantee your results. If I don't, because you're going to get a savings report with those numbers. Once you become a client, that savings report becomes a legal document. We have to meet or exceed the numbers on that report. And if we don't, we have to give you your money back. There is absolutely no risk to you. We have a 98% success rate on our program. Well, Don, why isn't it 100% if the results are guaranteed? And here's why. Even though you can lead people to something good, it doesn't necessarily mean they're always going to take advantage of it. And I'm sorry to say, some people become clients, but they don't fully take advantage of their opportunity. So I'm asking you today, get us to 100%. Don't be the 2% that will almost get there. Thou almost persuadest me to save money. I want everybody to do what they can to be able to invest in their families, okay? So folks, we're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas one more time. And then remember, folks, get your own savings and earnings report if you haven't already, and learn how to pay off all of your debt in 7 to 9 years and cut your interest costs by 75%. I will see you all again on Sunday morning. Thanks a lot, everybody. Oh, Coffee, you just came in. Coffee,
Hey, Don.
Listen, I was just getting ready to end the show. You know I have to talk to you, right?
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Listen, we just showed people how to make money out of thin air. You need to listen to this one. This is a good one.
Yes, sir.
How are you feeling?
I am I'm not feeling 175% like normal, so
Okay.
I'm in bed. So
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I feel honored that even though you're not feeling 175%, you still spent some time with us today.
absolutely.
All right. Feel better now. So everybody send prayers and good thoughts towards Coffee Brown. Click on her bio, find out what she does, and follow her as well. All right, folks, let's listen to Dr. Eric Thomas one more time as we say goodbye, and I'll see you on Sunday.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.